Alright, what's happening, plebs? We out here with our ban list discussion here. We tend to do this every other list, or when we think there's a list coming at least. So, OCG had their thing, and I'm joined by the UK plebs, and we're just gonna go over the list, and Brad's gonna give us some basic bitch theory. Beaky's gonna give us some unrealistic requests.
Hello.
But first and foremost, I guess we can probably just begin with the OCG ban list, and because some ways, in some forms, that can kind of affect us. So
Gotta get that up now.
Beaky, what do you think about that shit?
Dear God.
Where do I begin?
It's totally so drastic, but like it's appropriate because of all the fucking erratas. We won't have that for like.
No.
Oh.
You do not. No. There is so many.
And it's begun.
Don't undermine my basic bitch theory.
You do not justify card coming back like some of these cards by they've been errata. Bitch, please, they brought back fucking Imperial Order. This is not okay. This will never be okay.
No spells.
This is literally Imperial Order is hands down the best Floodgate Yu-Gi-Oh has ever seen. Like, what?
Yeah.
Jesus. I mean, Rip Goyo Guardian, that card was shit anyway.
Let's start with Imperial Order. So
Right.
why is that card bad?
Because it literally says the best cards in Yu-Gi-Oh cannot be played.
Is that a good thing though? If no one gets to play, then we get a fair format.
Man, yeah.
I mean, guys, look on the right side. They have to pay 700 every standby phase. I mean,
Yeah.
Am I actually bad for seeing that and going like, oh, well, it's both players' turns, so that's pretty terrible.
Can I just say, like, first, I think the issue there is like, how out of touch do you have to be with the game to look at Imperial Order and go, oh, I know what the problem is with that card. This is life points don't cost enough.
Oh, fucking hell.
yeah, I don't think there's much else to say on that one, to be honest.
Like, is anyone happy that that's back? Is anyone in chat like think that that's a good thing? Like, without trolling, like, is that actually a good reason, like a good card to come back? And if so, what's your reason for it? Like, I can't. I don't know.
The only guy I know who's happy about it is the person who I know who has 100 secret rares.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean that
Like,
counts.
and I think that's it.
There's been a guy that's had like 100 Imperial Orders for like the last 7 years or something ridiculous, just thinking it's coming back.
So
Like-
did they bring back anything in OCG that isn't like majorly errated? Because obviously Imperial Order got errated, but we can pretty much agree that errata means nothing. But has anything come back from the OCG that wasn't majorly errated? I guess like Goyo Guardian. Wait, no, that got. No, never mind.
That was banned, and then it was like newly limited.
I think Bryanak coming back with the errata is that's a good move. I think.
Yeah,
That's okay.
it's balanced.
Bro's a weird one because like it's once per turn, but it's still got the effect of like you can discard any amount, which is sort of crazy. But I guess that goes along with the fact that they've only just limited DeLorean, but like I don't really like the fact that you still have you put DeLorean to 1, so you've tried to stop some of the crazy combos, but by bringing Brio back, it also just makes it so that you probably can still do the loops in a different way.
No, you can't. You can only bounce your opponent's cards with it now as well.
Oh, Brio only bounces opponents?
Yeah.
Oh, that's something I didn't know before.
So it's
Okay,
like totally
right.
fair now, really.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, Coral Dragons, like
And that's why
discard,
I think
destroy one.
erratas
This
are
is going to be
good.
discard bounce them. Like,
It's still just it just becomes an OTK card now, though. Surely that's just not healthy.
It's probably it's pretty beneficial for more pushes, and it's also like format dependent as well, where like popping stuff might not be as effective. So like in a format where Beatrice is a thing, you know, like Bryanak's just like miles better. I don't know.
If anyone can link me the OCG ban list currently, that would be the new one in chat or something.
Yeah,
That
I'll
would
do
be
it.
useful.
I'll do that.
I wanted to talk about erratas really quick. So a lot of people hate erratas, and there's been so much talk about it. But see if you actually really think about erratas, right? Now, if a card like Bryanak isn't to be errated, because people the argument is like, oh, you know, they're ruining all these nostalgic cards, you know, that it takes away the meaning of them and what they represented and all that kind of shit. But it's like, okay, so let's say that Bryanak doesn't get errated. When is that card ever going to be okay in the game? It's just a broken, like, absurd card that has all these crazy loops, and it's like the only way to make that card come back into the game is by errataing it. And I think that errata is really good and it's really fair. So,
I think I was against like the first bunch of erratas, like, you know, like Crush Card and Ring of Destruction. I think I was in the same boat, to be honest. I thought they could just like, you know, like pay tribute to the cards that were banned and just like, you know, chuck them in like some sort of random set, but with the errata effects, and then just like have them, I don't know, like,
yeah, like some of them are just
banned.
Unnecessary, like you mentioned there, and like Sangan being errated, or Sinister Stirpent, like someone mentioned in chat, like that just doesn't need to be errated.
No.
Or Goyo Guardian.
Oh my god, Goyo! What the fuck is that? All those Earth decks, man.
They literally haven't paid attention to the TCG for the past 2 years. It's been legal since July 2014, and has done sweet fuck all.
Can someone explain to me how Rescue Cat's errata like makes a difference?
Now, it's once per turn.
Oh, it's once per turn. Okay.
And the effects are negated.
Yeah, I saw
That's
that.
the big reason.
I thought that was the relevant thing. Like,
no, the negation like is an errata, but like it's not a huge one. Like, it was never like super relevant that they had their effects. Like maybe in like some occasions where you played Sea Koala and Neospatian Dark Panther. Like there are a few times that like it could be relevant, but on the most part, it's just really not that relevant. It's just about
you're forgetting about good old Air Bellum as well.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. You're having your Air Bellum in the battle phase. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, someone's saying like keep that shit banned and respected, but it's like, okay, sure, let's keep Bryanak banned and respected, quote unquote. But like, what does that really achieve? I mean, we're just never gonna see it again. Like, it's just.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like I'd rather just have watered down versions of them that we can actually play than them just sit on a list forever and be useless.
So what other type?
I get that.
What other type of like errata? Well, no, it's not really an errata, but see if you look at, I think like maybe a good step forward instead of erratas would be something like Shadow Mist and Stratos, because you know like Shadow Mist kind of does like the same thing. It's not really the same thing at all, but it's like kind of like paid in tribute to, because it's the first hero monster that searches. So
well, that's what I was talking about, where like you could effectively
design new cards.
Yeah, design new card, but like say if it was like, you know, a different artwork of Bryanak. It's like just Bryanak effectively, but like with a marginally different name, with a marginally different effect. But like people go, oh, that's Bryanak. You know, it's still Bryanak, but it's like not the same thing.
Yeah.
No, I disagree with that, just because like by doing that, we're just going to end up to a point where like we're just going to have a ban list which is just so big. Like I agree that we should errata cards and make it say that we don't have a ban list that is just by the end of it just so huge. But at the same time, I don't think you should be trying to do it with everything. Like I just think there are some cards that are banned that you shouldn't even bother touching, because even if you try and water it down, you're literally making it completely unplayable, or you're just making it still too good to just be in the format. Like this may seem crazy to some people, but I honestly still think that Crush Card is actually just still like too ridiculous to be in the format, to be honest. And I think the same thing for the Imperial Order Errata as well.
I mean, Imperial Order goes without fucking saying.
Yeah.
What see erratas? Do they apply in all regions, right? So I mean, it's not just like errata and okay.
Well, we'll get them eventually.
Yeah. I mean, for us, it's not. It's still going to be the exact our card at the moment. Is when they'll make a reprint of it relatively soon, and as soon as we get a reprint, it will have the new text.
Yeah.
The only exception to this is Chaos Emperor Dragon, because we've still not got that errata, even though it was one of the first ones.
Have we got the Dark Strike Fighter errata yet?
Yeah, we got 5Ds.
We got that years ago.
Was that the 5Ds collection thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So another big card that came back was Brain Control with the errata, that you can only use it on normal summon monsters. What do you think about that?
Rip.
It sucks.
I mean, yeah, it's not that great. There'll still probably be some ways to use it well, but it's
In helmet mirror matches. I summon Thunder King pass. Haha,
I
fool.
take your thunder.
You have been outwitted, my friend.
No, my barrier statue. Fuck you.
Like, brain control is arguably a bad example of an errata, because now it's just a shadow of its former self. It's
Yeah.
just, it's so,
Even mind control is just better than it now.
Yeah.
yeah, arguably, yeah, definitely. There's not much else to say really about brain control. Future fusion, that's a really big one.
That's cool. That's a cool.
That's a very interesting one.
Yeah. I think it's actually...
I guess it is sort of right. You have a turn to stop this, or I kill you. That's
rather
kind
than
of future fusion now.
rather than
I guess that's too slow in like today's meta.
Yeah.
Just to give them a turn.
It's like
I guess you can reveal the Infernoid guy and just send your deck.
Someone saying in the chat,
Pretty
oh, I
cool.
thought this was TCG, this ban list. Yeah, we are going to get to that. It's just important because OCG can sometimes influence and it can be clues to what we will get. So I think it's a good thing to just look at the OCG list for a bit.
It might not be the case though, because like, don't forget they're 3 months ahead and they have like a format. We have to integrate Zodiac into our format. Then we have to hit the stuff that has already been in the format for a while. So we're just like mildly looking at this, and then we'll like talk about the actual ban list, because I don't think like we'll lose a lot of stuff from this format. We just have like this wish list effectively, but yeah, I don't think a lot of stuff will probably get hit.
So as for stuff that came back in OCG, going from least powerful, I guess we have Dragonfly, Sovereignty, Math, Mizuki, and El Shaddai. Now, Dragonfly is an interesting one because, well, that deck's still really good if you like open like Hornet. You got three of each now, so I mean that still does like OTKs and.
Unfortunately, power creep's just a thing now.
Yeah, I think that has very much been the victim of power creep.
Yep.
A lot of stuff will just stop it in its tracks so easily now.
I think the thing that I'm most excited about, if they did it for us, is the unlimiting of Mathematician. Like, so I'm pretty sure it's like this general consensus across the player base that like Mathematician was really good for deck building.
Yeah, I was sad to see that get hit. So I'd love to for that card to come back to 3. I don't know. Was that why did that even get hit in the first place? Was it some kind of indirect Shadow hit or?
Yeah,
I
think it was just the fact that it was a solid generic card. Like BA had played it at some point, Shadow had played it at some point, Necros sometimes played it with Bulb. It was pretty much just that. It's like
just to confirm, Armageddon Knight's still at 1 over there, right?
Pardon?
Armageddon Knight's still at 1 over there, right?
Is that a 1? I didn't know. I thought it was a 3.
Maybe someone in chat can let us know. Yep, apparently Arma's at 1 over there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Other card that came back, obviously, El Shaddai Fusion. I mean, they have 6 fusions now, I guess, right? Or is Shaddai Fusion still at 1 over there? Was it ever at 1?
No, I think it's a 3.
Right,
it's just like Constructs banned.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, without Construct.
As long as they don't have
Constructs
Construct.
at 1 over there, isn't it?
Pardon?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's banned.
Let me check. I swear it came back.
Other semi-limited cards, Magician of Faith. I think we got that before the OCG. And Dandelion. I don't think that's relevant, really.
Dandy Warrior.
Could be at 4.
On to some more relevant limits. We talked about Imperial Order, Future Fusion, Brain Control, Union Hanger. So that's a big hit. That's really
That'll
big.
just kill the deck off. The deck's already got like effectively rogue or in the 5% of representation of other decks, and it will just like kill it off. And
it seems more like a financial thing rather than an actual balancing issue with that one.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, as you said, like the decks are totally irrelevant over there, so it was like hitting it for nothing, really.
Well, again, though, it's only irrelevant as long as Zodiac Beast is a thing. As soon as like Zodiac Beasts go, that would then become a good deck again. So, it would be either hit it now or wait until the next list when they hit Zodiac to then go, oh, we have to hit this now.
Yeah, it's just...
So they may as well just hit it now.
Speaking of Zodiac, they hit Tenki. That's at 1 now, so what, less consistency for Zodiac, really? Not a major hit?
Big hit. No, not at all. Like, the limits of Terratop and Tenki are, like, marginally indirect.
It's like when Necros got hit the second time, it was just kind of like wrist slaps.
What, as in for them or for us? Because, like, the first time for us was, like, Bryota 2.
Bryo.
then,
oh right,
like,
yeah, might be
prep
the first
for
time
one.
then. Yeah.
Prep
Yeah,
for
so
one.
it's like similar to that. So like they limited some consistency, but really the deck's still super powerful.
Yeah.
Very much.
We'll have to see. But I think that's it in terms of like the whole list. A lot of erratas, and then just kind of like slapping the best deck on the wrist before it goes off into like the regional season, and then the next ban list probably won't be until like right before the nationals and like Euros season.
Well, Toad's at 1 now, so it was Paleozoic a thing over there at all?
Not really. Like they got it too late, I think. Like Toad had been out for like too long, and then they had they were playing like card Demise variants. I'm pretty sure. Like I know FarfaYGO was like a thing over there for a bit, but only for like probably 3 weeks, I imagine.
Yeah. Well,
Cyberstein's still legal over there.
Toad's legal over there.
Cyberstein
is legal.
Yeah. Because you could play it. They were playing it in like Metalfoes. You just like summon like Nature Exterior, and then you pop it, and then like you'd have like Alcahest Exterior. Cool deck.
Cool deck, mate.
Yeah.
Last thing to talk about for OCG, Kieran. That's
Fair, good, healthy.
Yep. Next.
not much to say really.
No.
So yeah, OCG list. Other than like Imperial Order coming back, seems like a decent list, I guess, for them.
Yeah.
Moving on to TCG, let's start off with the weakest. We have no longer limited Sangan. Wait, no, sorry. This is our. We're looking at Brad's wish list rather. So we're just we're looking at things that should probably be at 3 in TCG today. What should be at 3 today? So Sangan,
well,
arguably one of them without a doubt, really.
Yeah, I just put Sangan on there because the errata just happened when I wrote this up. There could be like a bunch of other things that deserve to be at 3, but like I'm only acknowledging the things that don't really do anything, and just been errated.
Looking at other things here that should be at 3, Honest should probably be at 3. Is there any reason why Necrofish shouldn't be at 3? Chain Strike.
Disc Commander.
Disc Commander.
I think it can be at 3.
Evac at 3 would be cool. Book of Moon as well.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of cards we could put to 3, honestly.
What about Torrential Tribute? Like, it sounds really, but like, it sounds weird because it's at 1. But like, I think Torrential, like, they had it at 3 in the OCG for the longest time. I think it's something that could actually be like fine at 3.
Yeah.
Because like, it doesn't like outright rape any sort of pendulum matchup. I don't think there's anything that like outright loses to Torrential. So I thought Torrential could be at 2 or 3, but it's all these other like, yeah, all these other random things like Ojama Trio.
You see, even though it wouldn't really make a difference, I don't exactly agree with the idea of promoting Chainburn.
Yeah.
So, to be quite honest with you, you can put those cards to the ban section for all I'm concerned.
There's things like Summoner Monk at 2 as well, like, or Debris Dragon, like these things.
Boy, do you not be saying that you think Summoner Monk should be going to 3. Do not you dare say that.
Whoa,
oh yeah, why is that?
Okay. Yeah,
because that card should be banned. Jesus.
Okay, elaborate.
Because it literally gets you any level 4 in the game. How is that fair?
Okay.
It literally tutors, and it gives you that gives you any more copies that you want of a level 4. That card is not healthy for the game.
Okay.
I guess that's I think you're sort of right in the long term answer, in the fact that like.
Yeah.
See, when you start judging
there's
cards based off their root problem, then it's like so many cards should just be banned by that kind of logic. You know, with like Instant Fusion should just be banned, like Monk should be banned, fucking like
Beaky,
Card Trooper should be banned. You know, because like if we start looking at cards based off what they could cause in the future, then we'll just be like, we just have to ban
that's what I want.
A lot.
That's what I want in the game.
Okay.
Beaky, you thought Machine Dupe should be banned, right?
Yeah, it still should be banned.
Yeah. I'm just like making sure that it was you that I was talking to about it ages ago.
I don't know about really. I think Monk is maybe fine. Like the spell ditch is really heavy, and spells are just always going to be broken.
Yeah, I mean, realistically now that card could go to 3, but it is one of those things where it's like, it will undoubtedly come up at some point in the future.
Is there any reason why Necrophase shouldn't be at 3? And
The only thing would be that it will produce some more deck out decks, but that's more funny because Pot of Desires is a card.
No. What about Wind Up Magician as well? Like,
Yeah, I think they were just testing the waters with that one, putting it to 2. It'll move up to 3 probably on the next
realistically,
list.
what they need to do is put Zen Mighty to 1, and then we'll really be able to test the waters and see if that deck's relevant. And
can you loop with the one Zen Mighty? Can't, right? You can't do anything.
Nah. Not unless you manage to emerald it back 3 times.
Shockmaster banned, so
Yeah.
kind of do
So-
nothing.
Dragon
Yeah, a
Ravine
lot.
can probably go to 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of these things that are at 2 could just go to 3. I mean, like, a lot of the Chainburn cards could just stay at 2. I think Thunder King should be, like... I think it should be banned, too.
Thunder King's a weird one because it's like it's fair almost, but like it just when you have like a format like Necros, for example, where it's just a walking floodgate, then it like is bad. But like, how many decks realistically in the game rely on searching and can't play if they can't search? It's really just been.
But
Necros.
it's also the inherent summon factor as well, maybe. Potentially. I mean, like, the fact they can like stop both of those things is pretty relevant.
It doesn't stop the pendulum summon, right?
Yeah, it does.
Does it?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Oh, wow, okay.
It's black horn.
Yeah, it's same as this one.
Shame.
And the final. Go on, Red.
But okay, so Chris always talks about this. He thinks, and like he explained it pretty well. I think it's fair to say that maybe he thinks Maxx C should be banned because it's like the thing where you go first with 4 cards of your deck is like, if you're playing one of the best decks of the format, it's not hard to play with 4 cards, and then you set up like a board, and if Maxx C's your 5th and your opponent tries to play, it's the equivalent of like having a floodgate or something.
Okay, but surely we should be getting cards like Emptiness banned before we start distinguishing about Maxx C.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
go on.
we don't have to pick and choose. Like we can go.
But we're just talking about what should be banned in a vacuum.
It's not like we can only ban one.
Pick one or the other. Don't be greedy.
I mean, I personally disagree. I think Maxx C is one of the best design defensive cards, honestly.
It was. I would agree that it was because
I think if Maxx C had something like you can only activate this card if you control no monsters or something along those lines, I think it would be perfectly good. But
yeah,
it's as you've said. It's starting with a board and then having Maxx C to so it's play through this or die next turn.
Yeah, so it's like
which is not to go through.
Before, in even Necros format, you could play around Maxx C. That's where you kind of get rewarded. Where Maxx C was like a card that punished bad players and rewarded good players. But now it's not really that. That's not really the case. Because you have a huge board and it's like, okay, try and break this, and they go, sure, I'll try, and it's like, cool, Maxx C, fuck you, nice game, and it's just like, it's not the case anymore.
You think that's Maxx C's problem, or do you think that's the format's problem?
It probably is just Yu-Gi-Oh's problem as a whole, but I think that probably one of the ways to address it in one short motion is Maxx C.
Okay, so we get Maxx C banned, right?
Yeah.
How are we going to address the format then? Because we're just going to be in a situation where the dice roll becomes even more impactful because you don't even have a card to be able to impact the board. Well, to impact on your opponent's turn when they've gone first.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other hand traps.
There's also just the fact that I think it's based on card design. Maxx C kind of almost, it's weird because it exaggerates just how powerful certain deck cards are nowadays, but also it's necessary because of how powerful things are. It allows you to go second, but it also means that if you went first and you had Maxx C, it's makes those going first plays even stronger. So it's hard. It's hard.
Would you say Shared Ride needs to be banned?
No, I think that's too specific.
They're not the same level.
That's too specific.
Yeah, Speedroid is really niche. Like, how many decks rely on searching? There's really only ever been one in the entire game.
Yeah.
I think Maxx
Unless
C
you
is one
get
of those things where it's like,
Necros.
what's it called? There's like really no right or wrong answer. Like, on one hand, you can say, well, as someone said in chat, well, you either stop and get OTK'd, or you plus your opponent massively and they just OTK you. And then on the other hand, you can say, well, you know, you have to keep the format in check, and you need some kind of thing to like promote some kind of decision making and interaction. So yeah, there's really both. You can look at it from both ways, and I don't think it's way too complex, honestly, to say whether or not, yes, that card, like Maxx C is one of those 3 or 0 cards. Like, you either ban it or like you just have it at like 0, I think. And
ban it or have it at 0. I like that logic.
ban it or have it at 3.
They'll never like, you know, address the format, or like they could never like constantly address the format because they want to sell loads of broken powerful shit. So they'll just like keep releasing that broken powerful shit that does like this dumb stuff. You know, like when Zodiac becomes a thing. So like the best way to sort of like, you could, even if I'm wrong, then I'd like to see how I'm wrong, or how Chris is wrong, sorry, in that if it was banned, like let's see like how, if it's like more healthy or more unhealthy for the game. But at the moment, you know, can't we just like to print loads of broken shit? So Maxx C could help mitigate that problem, or it could just contribute to the problem. It's hard to say, really.
Just like the game is so reliant on special summoning, like apart from like pendulum summoning, I think it's like fine because like you can pendulum 5 and you still draw 1. So I think in like scenarios like against Metalfoes, it's probably fair because like, I mean, giving your opponent a +1, like to make like a massive board is like you'd play through it regardless. But then like you have a deck like Mermel where like, well, if I summon Teus and they Maxx C me, well, I'm fucked, really, you know.
Nice try.
Yeah.
Well, fuck.
Cool. Yeah. So like, I guess that's like the semi-limited to unlimited shit, or the whatever unlimited.
Yeah, I think moving up to the limited part now. If we look at what.
No. We're talking about we're skipping semi-limited, what we think should be semi-limited, but I know Beaky's not going to contribute to that which is like fair. I only have like no we talk about
you can semi-limit engine cards, just not like random stuff like Dark Hole. Like that's just really kind of silly.
No, but Beaky had a good point about like.
No. We're going into your list first. We'll go into what the others, what me and Jack think afterwards. We're literally just looking at your list at the moment.
Oh really? I thought we were talking about like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, okay, my semi-limited thing is just kind of weird because like, but I think it's like kind of correct. I think Card of Demise needs to be like semi-limited, if not limited, or not banned, because like,
that's very broad.
Yeah, okay,
it could be at anything.
Honestly, like, no, but like honestly, this is my relationship with this card. I think that it needs to be hit in some shape or form. And if it's not going to be banned or limited, then fuck it, semi-limited. Just because fuck logic, right? You know, Yu-Gi-Oh just seems to not favor logic at the moment. So, yeah, Card Demise at 2 kind of just seems alright because in formats where Demise can be good, or like it comes up, it just like becomes unnecessarily like rewarding to those who don't think.
Was it really that good though? Honestly, if you think about it,
well,
like,
you draw Floodgate.
How many just complete randoms, or like people who have like never topped before topped in like around like April to June because they put 3 Demise into their deck
and drew like a bunch of traps.
Spoiler alert, it was quite a lot.
Yeah,
and I just think
I don't even mind if they
help.
draw lots of traps. It's just like if they draw floodgates, and it's like, well, okay, can't even attempt to play through.
But that's the thing.
It just doesn't promote a healthy game, like essentially. That's my thoughts on Demise.
But like people in the chat are like arguing that like the fuck, like all people are like arguing that like it's not relevant right now, but like you give it a format where it's like BA, you know, you give it a format that could actually like be good. It's just gonna like take so many like spots in like Top Cut or something.
So what are your thoughts then on cards like Card of Demise, like what's that pay 2,000 summon 2 monsters from your deck with?
Oh, Ties of the Brethren.
Do you think that's under the same theory?
I I don't know, because that doesn't let you like draw floodgates.
See, that's the problem with these root cards. Like, they're only as good as what they provide, right? So, I mean, that's like one argument you could even use for like fucking Pot of Greed. Like, Pot of Greed should be at 3 because, well, it's only as good as what you draw. Like, you could look at it from that kind of angle. And like Card Demise, it's only as good as what you draw. Ties of the Brethren, it's only as good as what you summon, right? So, the game, but just based on pure power creep, like even the Floodgates are more powerful, the traps are more powerful. So obviously cards like Pot of Greed, Demise, and Desires, which we'll get onto later, you know, again, these cards are only as good as what they get, and in this day and age, the cards they get are fucking crazy. So should we just ban them?
Wait, was that like?
Yeah,
actual...
I'm game for that.
Yeah, ban all that.
If you want my legit response, yeah.
Yeah.
Ban all that.
I'm not disagreeing.
But I don't think that realistically would happen. So
I think Card of Demise is fine at 3. I think these sort of Card of Demise, Lawnmower, and Ties of the Brethren, they're all cool cards because they enable people that don't want to conform to the sound logic that we have nowadays, and sort of puts the format on its head because like it enables people to have a different way of thinking. Like they're playing like terrible decks, but like they get cool cards to be able to play these terrible decks, which I think is fine for the game. Like, I mean, Card of Demise Cosmo was kind of cool. It was like kind of a good deck, but at the same time, like that deck was garbage. So,
mate, 9th in Swiss, yeah. Right. 88th place at Euros. Fucking want to kill myself.
Okay.
Oh wow, I'm so proud.
Like,
So proud.
they're cool cards, but like the decks suck at the end, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, they're insanely limited. They were just like, it was just crazy how like ignorant they were. So like you just steal games because like, oh, Tin Can Town set 2 Demise, cool. I draw more traps. It was weird. Like you very rarely got punished for playing a deck that, you know, almost linear.
Cards that you can just kind of slap on the field without much thought should really, you know, probably not be in the game if you think about it. And Card of Demise is one of those kind of cards where there's really no punishment for playing it. There's no real thought process involved, unless of course you draw like 5 monsters or some shit like that. But for the most part, if your deck strategy is like play like 10 monsters and lots of traps, and well, you're 9 out of 10 times you're going to just activate Demise without really thinking about it, you know. So cards like that should probably not be in the game because they don't promote much thought.
Yeah, like,
yeah,
but that's literally my only semi-limit to it because, like, I just thought, like, they can still, those decks, like, do you know how they talk about, like, how, like, these decks create a strategy, you know, like, these Konami reps or whatever, like, yeah, that's fine, you can create this strategy, like, you just want to make it, like, less likely that they're going to see that really dumb card, like, yeah, sure, let them resolve it, like, once or twice, or, no, not even once or twice, but, because, like, twice is, like, you know, just fucking stupid, but, like, I don't know. Yeah, the first time they resolve it, it's like, cool, you get that, you know, +1 or +2, whatever, but you're still playing a fuck ton of traps. Or you're still playing a shit deck. But allow them to keep drawing floodgates, and then it's just like, you know, fuck off, kid.
So speeding this up along a bit, because we still need to get through quite a bit here. Onto the limits. Brad's got Terratop. Yeah, I think that's another one of those 3 or 0 cards, really. Like,
oh, I left it at 1 because, like...
See, I don't think that's 3 or 0 because you have to play a Garnet in order to play it. So if it's at 1, is it worth playing that in the Garnet to play it? Probably not. Well, and then that also actually allows you to play it in Speedroids.
We're talking about Speedroid Terratop.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Like, you know, like, leave it at 1 for the weebs, and then, like, it's never got that, like, practicality anymore. So, like, yeah, it's just, like, terrible. But like I thought, like, yeah, not really, don't have to explain it. It's Terratop. It's fucking stupid. My other limits were Dante, just because like the final nail in the coffin. You can't let that deck like have any wiggle room because like
I don't even think that's harsh enough, to be honest.
Yeah, it probably needs like a ban.
Well, you gotta bear in mind Terratop's a hit on the deck as well.
Yeah,
so.
we need to ban Sir.
Yeah, maybe yeah. But I just thought, like, you know, you can't give that deck any wiggle room. Yeah, a ban would probably be more appropriate because, like, you give...
No, you don't need to hit Dante, you just ban Sir.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty fair. But
You can do either, really. But...
Yeah. Just because, like, in any format because it's the same thing every time. Oh, BA is not good, and then like a ban list happens that like kind of kills every deck, and then BA is still playable. So it's just like, cool, BA is a deck again. You know, for maybe at this point, like fucking hell, 5 years of being a deck. Fuck it, yeah.
And Brad's got Omega at 1, which is fair enough. I mean, degenerate, like non-strategies are just
dark
silly.
synchro hand loops and stuff like that, going into time a lot, or just like it's a good one of, I thought. And then like
terraforming you've got done as well. I think that's something I really disagree with. I think just generic cards like that are just I think it's good card.
Yeah, when I wrote the list I put terraforming, but I think Union Hanger would be like a more appropriate thing, because I think that like cards like terraforming should stay at 3 because like it just allows you to play like
Field
I don't know. It makes like those decks. You know, those decks have more consistency. You know, like so, like just because Unihang as a card doesn't necessarily mean that people can't play their Subterras or whatever the fuck. I don't know, but like, yeah, you should. I think it'd be better just to address the actual problem, because then it'd be interesting to see like how you could like punish the people who play like, ABC, like they play Union Hanger, and you go, oh cool, Paleozoic Dynamiscus, banish the only copy or something. But then the deck will just be unplayable because it's already kind of like weird or inconsistent at the moment. So, but yeah, like it's weird.
You see, I do disagree with that. I do think terraforming should be at 1 because as long as that card exists, like every field spell is a 6. If it needs to be like before Hanger was a thing, we had the pendulum decks playing like Sky Iris.
Yeah, but why is that
actually really good as well?
No, yeah. The other thing is that they should probably put terraforming to 1 actually, because I just forgot that Necro Valley was a card, and every time that a deck can play a field spell, and they just put Necro Valley in as a side option as well. Like when Pendulum was siding Necro Valley, it was just like, ugh, fuck off.
Just having 6 of one means so they can't really make any good field spells because every deck's gonna have up to 6 of them.
Yeah.
Or if they do make good ones, it's going to be a problem in the case of Union High because they have so much access to it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a problem as long as terraforming's a thing and they continue making field spells as cards.
I don't think that having Necro Valley as a card that you can have into your deck is actually necessarily a bad thing. I think that's a really cool interaction.
Oh, the other thing was Secret Village as well.
I mean,
like Pendulum just adding like, oh, I've got my Sky Iris, or like I don't even need my fucking Sky Iris because I'm just gonna play Secret Village. Go Duelist. Oh, I can't play. Okay.
Well, moving on to other the ban cards now.
Yep.
Level Eater's banned. I don't really agree with that particularly. It's a bit silly, I guess, sometimes, but in reality, like without the Dark Synchro deck, what has Level Eater ever contributed to the game in its how many years of being around, other than like Galactic Gods channel?
But like, I'm pretty sure like the shade. I'm pretty sure Dark Synchro is just the reason why it should be banned. You know, like.
Yeah, but once you limit Omega, what's left? Like for the deck?
It's just another one of those cards that's going to be that is abusable. Like.
Yeah.
It's problems because whenever they release new cards like Omega,
someone topped without Level Eater. I forgot.
It allows people to come up with these.
Someone at top bottom with a hand loop without playing Level Eater. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, fuck Level Eater then. But my wish list has like the 3 big ones, and then I like for some reason. I think, Nadir, you're like questioning why I thought Norden should be banned. I was just like, because it's an engine card that can be recycled that allows you to make like infinite Bahamut's and Toads and stuff.
I don't disagree with that at all. I think Norden should be banned.
I said this to you like weeks ago, and you were like, no.
You were sat there saying, nah, Rafflesia is not that good. Like, that response.
Well, kind of flip-flopping on Norden, really, because it's like, which one do you hit? Do you hit Norden or do you hit Instant Fusion? And I think I'd rather have Instant Fusion stay than Norden stay.
Yeah, Instant Fusion's fine without Norden. Like Instant Fusion has been a card for years, and it's never been like too stupid before we got Norden.
Plus, it was actually like decent. It was like cool with like Monarchs and stuff. You know, like all the whole extra deck stuff. But yeah, the other like the expected generic 3 wanted hits are just like Kirin, Anti-Spell, and Vanity's Emptiness to all be banned. Kirin just kind of like takes away from any sort of like interaction, I guess. Like the Metalfoes mirror is actually like really enjoyable, but then as soon as somebody puts a Kirin in the mix, it's just like, oh, you suck dick. And then like Anti-Spell and Emptiness are just like really skillful cards, you know. So
next up we have Anti-Spell and Emptiness. So Emptiness, I don't think really, just there's no argument there.
They probably won't ban them though, because Konami just like.
Yeah, that's not the point, is it, of a wish list, is it, Brad?
I'll put Emptiness
no, I know.
to 2.
Huh? Yeah, because like
I'll put Emptiness to 2.
I remember saying before, like, Konami probably realized like, oh, Pendulum is probably really overpowered, so we'll just leave like Anti-Spell in the game as like a contingency.
Well,
Beaky's such a prick. Fuck you, man.
yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone could really justify Emptiness thing.
Also, butthurt Necros player playing against fucking Jens. He was playing like Infernoid. He made that Anti-Spell. I was like, oh, cool. I've lost this round.
Anti-Spell wasn't that bad when you're playing Necros. You just set your ritual spells.
Yeah, but when they got Anti-Spell Decisive Armor, that was another story.
He made fucking Deviati. He summoned Deviati. I was just like, oh. No, wait, did he summon Deviati? No, he summoned fucking Lila. I was like, oh.
Lila.
Lila and the one that pops like one back row.
Petrulia.
Yeah, I just started knocking me in the shins with his monsters.
Right, and onto a bit more on Anti-Spell with regards to the Pendulum mechanic. I think Anti-Spell is a very fair card if you take out the Pendulum mechanic, because it's like, the game would be slow enough that way. And nobody, like, well, what did it really do before the Pendulum mechanic? Did anyone ever play that card? No, not really.
It was sometimes sided against Spellbook, and even then there was better options in the form of Troll Mock Birds, so it wasn't a particularly
So I think even if if they changed the mechanic in such a way where you could set your scales,
you could set them, yeah, that would be correct.
It'd be okay.
Yeah.
And finally, Kirin, I think, is just, yeah. I mean,
well,
that's got to be banned. What?
My Spectre should have never been made in the first place.
Yeah. The entire archetype can't be destroyed or targeted, and it's like just this walking compulse, like searchable in your
fine.
That you can pendulum summon.
Because I search traps.
But lads, Granmo has to be outwon. Too powerful.
That thing could just. I don't know why it's honestly
like Granmole's at 1, but Kirin's like was like, is that 1 like how, like they kind of act the same way, but it's like they're so different in like their power. But like, so like in Konami's logic, like Kirin and Granmole are like just as good as each other. Like that's their train of thought. Like let's put both of them to 1. Like they're both just as good as each other.
YCS Prague. I'm going to be teching my Granmole to attack your Drancia. Put it back in your edge deck.
Kirin requires a tribute. Granmole doesn't, so I guess Granmole's just better.
Go for the 3. Alright, and that concludes Bread's suggestion list. I think one other way that we should go about this is we can look at archetype by archetype. I think would be a good way to see like what should be hit in each archetype, rather than going through sections. So, like, what should we put to 3, what should we put to 2, what should we put to 1. I think looking at it by archetype would be better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So let's start off with alphabetically. Why not? Because ABC. I think that
Dragon Buster banned.
No.
Fuck,
like,
I mean, I think realistically, terraforming to 1 would probably like just stunt its consistency enough.
But like, I don't want to hit the deck's consistency. Just like, I don't believe in hitting consistency. I believe in hitting power. You know. So like, just keep the field spells at 6. But like, I don't know, put like Buster to 1, which even then arguably.
I agree with like killing decks rather than hurting them. That is my general thought process. But I do try and consider what Konami like might do rather than. Why would
you rather destroy a deck rather than just have it like, you know, kind of be tuned?
Well, so the thing is, you're saying like just hurt A, B, C slightly, but then if they still open the nuts, you know, they still open hang a gadget, then they can just still set up their board and win. And I don't really like that you can just get sacked by these decks that if they open the nuts, they win, even if they are inconsistent.
But the thing is, like, sure, they're more consistent, but see if they have, like, 1 Buster, like, what can they really do if you draw any of your, like, System Downs or a Kaiju? Because they can't tag out now if they have 1 Buster.
The thing is, though, but if Buster was at 1, the deck wouldn't be very good and people would stop siding system downs. But that's what I mean, then the deck could just take you by surprise and beat you. So it's...
Yeah.
I guess it's sort of a loop. That would be the best way to describe it. Yeah, like they could put Buster to 1, but that deck would still be okay, and there would still be people playing it. If they just opened Gadget Hanger, they could still beat you.
BK, what should we do to ABC?
You should hit Solemn Strike, and you should hit Dimensional Barrier.
It's not an ABC deck.
Yeah, because everything in ABC sucks apart from the trap cards.
I think Strike, that's something else we should have probably talked about as well, but like I quite like Strike at 3, but I don't like D-Barrier. That's like...
My card is, yeah, it's not good in the theory that it's a trap card, but at the same time, like, it creates problems because if you draw it turn 1, you're just at such an advantage over your opponent.
Yeah, not to skip ahead as well, but like in Paleozoic as well, the like shutting off your opponent's ability to like play the game and then summoning like an engine card, like
all of the actual ABC engine just sucks, like straight up. Like even the fusion, like the fusion's cool, but in reality, the card isn't like insane.
See, the thing is, like, apart from Floodgates, I really don't like hitting trap cards because trap cards are just getting so bad. Like they've just slowly been like getting filtered out of the game almost. And like, what do you?
Like Matt Bell though straight up said that he wasn't going. They were going to prevent and not make a trap card that is as good as Solemn Strike for quite a while. Dimensional Barrier is probably as good, if not better, than Strike.
Yeah, I agree.
Like that card is actually just absurd. Like even if we just ignore Strike for now and go for Dimensional Barrier, like I think that in itself actually just hurts ABC a lot because it's just going to get beaten out by all the decks that had to come and like doesn't really have a good enough way of countering them.
Yeah. Like what's it? The thing about like Strike was that like it wasn't chainable, and like I think that's actually quite it actually has quite an impact on the way that the format plays out. Like the fact that you get punished by a Twin Twisters in like formats prior to Dim Barrier being a thing was quite is quite actually effective. Whereas now with Dim Barrier you could like summon Buster with a Dim Barrier and they go like, oh well, it's a Strike, so potentially like try and kill it. It's like, cool, shut off, you still can't play. So I think it's I would agree that like Dim Barrier is actually a better card, but it's a shame that it's too new because they won't hit it just yet.
And plus, Dimensional Barrier you can't really play around. At least Strike you could somewhat play around with some.
Yeah, that exactly. Like you could.
Yeah, we Barry, you just have to accept. Well, I guess I skipped it.
Yeah, like when me and Danny are testing decks at the moment, we're like, okay, we need to see if we can play around multiple Strikes. There's no point trying to play it play testing against Dimensional Barrier openings because you're just going to lose those pretty much every single time.
Yeah, like if you play like say Metalfoes for example, and like you like summon a rabbit, and this is like a kind of a poor example, but like this shows how powerful the card is. Like if you got like rabbit effect and you like banish it to summon the two monsters from the deck, and you put in Dim Barriers and cause Pendulum, like it's not like Strike where it just stops like that one instance to attempt to summon something. Like you just can't play Pendulum monsters for the rest of the turn, so the rest of your hand needs to be like something else that could potentially like fusion summon or like lead into an XC summon, but like that won't happen. So
nah,
like,
well, I think Metalfoes is a bit of a weird exception because you can play Pendulum or Fusion and like it's not really playing around Barrier, but you still like are in the game, so it doesn't act as a Floodgate as much as it does against other decks. It
still impedes your ability to play the deck efficiently. It's still like
but there's no way you can say like if you call XZ against Burning Abyss, like you can't say that's just as on the same level as calling Pendulum against Metalfoes. It's not.
No.
So like because you have like Gofu as well, so you can go for Synchro plays. So they have to call like Synchro before you make an Ignister. So there's ways like where, but again I think that's a bad example because Metalfoes is one of the only decks that can play like more than other decks at least through Dim Barrier.
Yeah, I mean like if you then look ahead, for example, like with Zodiac, I mean it's like like just shutting off XCs is huge.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like it's a cunt of a card.
You can ritual and synchro and BA.
Broken.
It negates your
No,
own
you can-
cards too. Wow, please shut up.
You can fuse into Pilgrim as well, right?
Can we have our mod powers back, please?
Just ban everyone
I
who said
really
something
want-
stupid.
No, I just really want to like. I'm out swag 1299. No.
Like
I think the name says it all, really.
D-Barry is very skillful in the Zodiac mirror match.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Please explain it. Gives it cards.
So
But
someone-
next
someone
deck we
was,
should probably talk about now. I guess Metalfoes. How do we balance?
Sorry,
that deck?
I just want to add one more thing on ABC, which is the fact. I guess this is more of a generic thing than ABC, but I think desires should be hit.
Because
Whoa.
we're gonna get onto the more generic ones in a bit, but
Whoa.
going by pure archetypes at the moment. Anything else did you want to bring up about ABC?
Not really.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
elaborate. Obviously, later I will elaborate on the desires thing and
Would
why
it
I think
be-
that's relevant to ABC. But sure.
Would it be incorrect to suggest that maybe like Tsukiyomi could be banned?
Yes.
Like it sounds really okay. It sounds really weird, but like because that's like the enabler of the combo. That combo that just like wins.
See, that's
games
the issue
outright.
when you hit such niche cards, because like Tsukiyomi sucks ass, but like it's only good in that one deck,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that
Like
yeah.
when
Yeah.
when ABC eventually gets power creeped out, like why we're gonna look back at the list and be like, why the fuck is that still at 0 kind of thing? So
How do I? But like, I'm sure they did it before, right? They've like looked at like extra deck monsters and gone, or like any card and gone. That's actually really impactful in that one deck. So like, even if the card sucks outside of that one deck, like we'll at least immediately address the problem now. I don't know. Like, it might be incorrect. Like, probably just hitting the field spell is probably like the only thing that's necessary. So yeah, we can move on.
I think the field spell would probably be the more realistic one.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to straight up ban Ender Dasu. He just said that banning floodgates is a bad idea.
Let's see that's see when you like stream for a bit, you start to learn to filter out certain parts of the chat, because like there's just no point. You know the saying, when you argue with a fool, then you become a fool. So let's just not bother.
Okay.
So moving on to Metalfoes, what can we hit in Metalfoes? I'm gonna let you guys lead this discussion because I'm fucking bursting for a piece. I'll be back in like a minute. So yeah, Metalfoes.
Alright, well,
Brad,
No?
Metalfoes the best
I guess that's
deck,
the
right?
obvious one, which is Kieran.
Metalfoes are the best deck. Like, that was so shit of you. Do you know how I was so triggered? Okay, so I was so triggered, right? I had scrubbed out Bakum. I loved Metalfoes, so like the fact that I loved the deck and I thought I had a really good list, and then I scrub out by round 6, and I was sat in my hotel for like a bit, and I get that message, and I was literally like, fuck it off. Like, fuck you. Like, for reals. And then Billy won the YCS, so I grabbed my phone and I was like, yeah, fuck you, cunt. Like, yeah, it is the best deck. LOL
Okay.
XD. Anyway.
Slightly more on subject, just because Natty has left for like a minute doesn't mean we
Yeah,
suddenly break a stream.
Right.
So obviously,
it's
Kieran
weird.
being
Yeah,
the one
Kieran
we all
banned.
would unanimously agree on.
Kieran being banned is like, that's it.
Um,
Kieran being banned is enough.
probably, but they should hit other stuff as well.
But why? Like, there's nothing problematic about the deck. I mean, like, if we're like gonna start hitting other things, that's like literally like post American Nats and Euros territory, where we want the decks to just be like mediocre.
I mean, the only other thing I would think of is you could probably like semi Mithrilium.
No, because it
I
doesn't
was
make sense.
hoping you would gain full decision.
Limit it.
Yeah, or something like that. Like, because it doesn't need an amazing hit, I don't think, if you're bad. A card, but I think it needs a slap on the wrist hit. Like, for now.
It's weird because like that deck is like, outside of Kirin, the deck is like literally like almost fair. Like, but it's just good. It's just very good, and like I wouldn't think that anything else needs hitting on the grounds that like, some people are playing like one at Alcahest. Some people are playing like one full metal fusion, or they're playing two and two of each. And if you start like to semi-limit, if you semi-limit Mithridium, that doesn't change the fact that they still have 2 Mithridium. They can still like do loads of shit. Like, people barely go into 3, but they play 3 just because when they play like the mirror match or any matchup that's a grind game, the third one does come up, and then you might take that away from somebody. But like, honestly, outside of Kirin, that deck is like insanely like balanced.
Well, I just got back. I guess that's I don't know what you guys. I kind of tuned in there, and I kind of agree with Brad to an extent. I feel like the deck is. It doesn't do anything particularly absurd. It's just like really. It's just like all around kind of good. But I think
like
a
every pendulum card is good.
Yeah,
not great, but good. Like
yeah. So I think like I think like some minor hit. I would just give like lots of minor hits to like Metalfoes. So I would like to see Alcahest to 1, which arguably you can play 1 anyway, so it's not even that big of a deal.
Exactly. That just means that it's unnecessary. Like it doesn't mean
it's not
like
really unnecessary, because like Alcahest into Alcahest with double full metal is like really strong against like certain matchups. So you know that stops like that play.
That's a huge expenditure.
I was just saying that I think like maybe like a slight hit to like maybe Mithrilium or something. I wasn't saying like, I don't think it needs. I agree overall, but like
yeah. So I think like Alcahest to 1, full metal to 1.
Well, full metal to 1 is unnecessary as well. Like because some like I said, people are like playing 1 anyway, so like it would just kind of like. It's like we were talking about before with like desires, where like.
Well, I mean that's the thing. I'm not suggesting to destroy the deck. I don't think that at all. I think the deck's fine. Like it just needs really minor tweaks to like suss out a couple of like kind of absurd plays.
It's not necessarily absurd. It just means your deck. You're just taking away like how many options the deck has in terms of defense.
Yeah, which is fine.
Oh, also
that's a good hit. Like just take away some of its options.
I don't know.
Scout should be banned. 1 card scale shouldn't exist.
I think fucking Infinity's shit.
This is the only relevant point I can put it in. Yeah, like that's.
Yeah,
I mean, I was
the
power of that to be banned last list. I was calling for Scout to be banned last list.
I've been calling for Scout to get banned since it came out for that reason. 1 card scale should just not be a thing.
Yeah.
That is such a floodgate.
Yeah.
Oh, Recreate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Infinity players you can do with Metalfoes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's absurd.
I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, Scout's not that relevant anymore," but just.
So yeah, I think if you hit like, I think if you hit like Kirin, that honestly would be like almost enough for the deck, really.
Kirin and Scout to be banned is enough.
Yeah, and even then, like, I don't think Infinity is good in Metalfoes anyway, but that's a different topic.
Maybe like painful decision to 1 is like the only one I could really say that.
But then like that kind of like helps. I think that actually helps people who build the deck, because like you know like a lot of people. I was playing 3, right, and apparently that makes me an idiot. But like I like apparently like people are really scared of like 3% when going first. Like fucking hell. But like.
You play at least 2 of it, don't you? No matter what the.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like people were playing like 2, right?
The argument.
So you put it to 1.
You'd be losing 1 card at least.
Yeah, but you put it to 1.
And it's a bit better than just drawing a scale as well, since you set up Mithrilium by sending 1.
Yeah. But like I was thinking, like you put it at 1, and then they go sick. This once per turn card. I only have to play 1 of it now. Boom. Like I don't know. It's weird because it's like. I don't know. I don't really think it's necessary because like people were already being indifferent about the ratio of the card as it is. But anyway, so like I think Metalfoes is like the 2 banned cards and then maybe painful decision if it was ever necessary.
Yeah. So, getting really short on time here. One final deck I guess that we should probably mention as well is Paleozoic that arguably would be hit sometime in the near future. Not really ways that you can hit it honestly, other than like. You'd have to hit like Toad or something like that, and even then, like
Swap Frog can get hit. Like
Beaky was saying that Reckless Greed should go to 2, which is pretty.
Yeah, Reckless Greed should never be more than 2 anyway. But yeah, Reckless Greed should go to 2.
If you put Reckless Greed to 2, then it's just a bad card. Then like you wouldn't play it.
No, people would still play it.
You still play it. It's a trap. Like that. Like
I think that's his point.
Well. Like, the whole idea with Reckless Greed was, like, you could just deck thin so much, and then you could Reckless Greed, draw 2, and then, like, there was a good chance you'd get to see your second
another one.
Opabenia kind of, like, mitigated that. If you could, like, Reckless Greed and then summon Opabenia, you're, like, able to, like, actually kind of, in a way, have this makeshift draw phase. Because you have, like, the Pekaya. Is it Pekaya?
Yeah.
The draw one?
D-draw, yeah.
Yeah, so you have the D-draw, I guess, and then, like, So like I guess it's like that where like Reckless Greed kind of enables you to like increase the chance of summoning up a Beania, or like make a fact that you're under Reckless. So but yeah, I can't really think of anything else.
Toad? Like you would one Toad, the deck would still be like fine, right? Even with one.
Yeah, I think like it's too soon for this. I think Toad should be banned just because of how powerful of a card it has. Like 3 good effects.
I mean, like if we're talking about stuff,
you can make multiple of them quite easily, but yeah, it's too soon for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we've probably discussed that like it's too soon to consider them because a lot of the things that we're talking about will be like after Nats, like American Nats or something like that, or like Euros, sorry. And like the things that we're probably going to be expecting, if anything, are like the slap on the wrist type hits. So like Reckless Greed to 2 would be like appropriate for that, and then like Metalfoes would probably get like a semi-limit of like Painful Decision or something, and it'd be like all these little pathetic hits that just kind of like say you have to play these decks because they're the best decks, but you're not going to play them at full power or like what they were. That's literally it. And then we'll have like the hits that we've been talking about in the next list.
That's too late.
All right. Anything else? Any other relevant cards that should probably be hit in the meta?
Neptibus should be at 1.
Wait, can we go into Part of Desires? I really want to hear Jack's idea.
We will. Just going over archetypes first. So
okay.
Neptibus, I guess, maybe. Sure.
Yeah, same being a problem. Start hitting everything else, Mermail, then just become the best deck, because Neptibus is actually just a really fucking good card.
Yeah, but then again, if you hit Norden, that's like pretty big. If you hit Toad, well, Mermail sucks.
I mean, I guess like Mermail was a good deck still even before Toad, so obviously Norden would be a pretty decent hit. But
it was just like a going second deck, and Toad made it a really good going first deck.
What's good going first deck?
Mermail.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so if you hit Toad, like the deck becomes that shitty going blind second hope you OTK deck that it once was with kaijus and bad cards like that.
Yeah.
Heroes, I think. I mean, I think we're highly underestimating them. But if we look at the top 32 for Bochum, 6 ABC, 6 Metalfoes, 6 Paleozoic, and 5 Heroes, which is actually proportionally bigger than ABC and Metalfoes, considering the number of entrants. If you think about it that way.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I only found that out today. I was like pretty shocked when I found out.
Yeah, Heroes and Paleozoic like Paleozoic was proportionally the best deck of Bochum because it had the same amount of tops as ABC and Metalfoes, but it had like half the representation. So Heroes, I think I'd like to see Darklaw to 1. I think wouldn't destroy the deck, but I think it would.
What about a Hero Lives?
Could hit Shadow Mist or a Hero Lives to 1 could also be valid, I think.
Heroes.
I think if we're banning Norden, we only need to then like limit one other card from Heroes, and then that deck could probably be fine.
Well, the thing is, like, if you ban Norden, then I think Heroes just bad.
Darklaw is still really powerful.
Yeah, I know,
that's a very good card, and like you can either go along the hitting the Shadow Mist, hitting the Hero Lives, or hitting Darklaw itself.
Yeah.
No, Stratos can never come back.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
I'd like to see 1 Darklaw for a bit, test the waters, and see how it goes. Maybe, I don't know. All right,
maybe yeah.
Ban Seer.
onto the generic cards that should be banned. So I guess we might as well just go straight to Desires. Jack.
Have the floor.
Right, so Desires is a card that has literally been played as a free of in pretty much every deck since it has been released. That card is really good. Like, I don't know if I can necessarily go as far as saying it is broken, because at the end of the day it does have a very steep cost, but...
What are you about, mate? Neg 9. Fucking shit card.
Shut up. Ban Brad from chat, please. Somebody donate £10.
Naughty Zone. Naughty Zone.
So... That's basically as much as I can say. It's just a solidly good card that everyone's playing free of, and
Does that warrant it being banned?
Like, when you start playing a deck, your instant reaction is just right, free Desires. That's the first thing you do, right? That's what I've been doing, and that is how good the card is. That you automatically start with free. Like a draw 2 in today's meta is just like really good. It mitigates the cost of going first because you start on 6. or going second, it allows you to have more cards to fight against the board they've made. There's just not much drawbacks of it. The banished 10 isn't enough to make a draw too bad.
You can't. You can only play one per turn.
Oh no!
People were only getting really punished by it if they played bad decks. So like, remember when Blue Eyes first became a deck in like when the movie pack came out? Then like people were getting punished because they were like, "Oh no, I've banished my 2 of my remaining Blue Eyes White Dragons," and it was like, "Yeah, because you're playing Blue Eyes."
Yeah, like I think maybe like BA it was fair in because you could banish Sir.
Yeah, it was like
big as well. Or Takaton
Sear,
board.
Sear, Graph, Takaton board.
But other than that, it's like
the thing is,
ABC,
there's like so many decks like that where you need your engine in your deck.
There's not that much.
But you need your engine in your deck for a lot of decks, So does that not make it fair?
That's a lot, like not really, no. Because in Paleozoic, it's like, what's the worst that can happen? You banish multiple Ronings. That's about it.
And in
Metalfoes again. You might banish your Metalfoes fusion. That's about it.
But you could just take it out of the deck. You just like take it out of the deck.
Yeah, exactly.
So like,
and again, ABC, you could take out all the letter, but if you're drawing your gadget and hanger anyway, then you're gonna set the desires and use it after you've done it. And then I just think that card's too good.
Yeah, and then
exactly. The card says draw 2 and it's generic. It just shouldn't be.
Right. Okay. First of all, man, you've not been seeing those sick deck profiles of regional tops with people playing 2 desires. But getting onto serious discussion. I think desires is actually quite a weird card. But I get what you mean, as in like there are just gonna be a lot of decks that you just automatically play 3 of it. But at the same time, like I feel when I first read the card, like. And when I first thought of it, like, it for sure just was straight up, like, you just play a deck and you just play 3 of that card and you play an Upstart Goblin and you just deck thinning to the maximum because you want to deck thin to the maximum because that's how Yu-Gi-Oh! Works. But I found, like, quite recently that there's actually just quite a lot of decks where you just straight up, Pot of Desires is actually just a lot more interesting in that there are just a bunch of times where you just can't afford to get Pot of Desires banished some of the cards in your deck. And like, I feel like we're going to get to a point where they're going to just be decks where you just need like a lot of combo interactions in the deck, and like you'll be playing cards like Brilliant Fusion and stuff. And
see, that's exactly what I was thinking about. I think like decks are just going to be like to the point where you just have so many combo pieces in the main deck that you just can't play it. Like, for example, it'd be like trying to play like Desires and like Monarchs or something like that, because you just have so many ones.
Yeah. Like there are obviously a few decks where you can't play Desires, but for the most, but not for most of them. And I feel like
no, but that makes it interesting. That makes it interesting because then that means that you're deciding between like the true definition of consistency by playing 3 Pot of Desires, or you're going more down the power route to try and win the tournament by having the most powerful strategy.
Like we were talking about before about like Zodiac and stuff, and like how you could some people have considered not playing Desires in Zodiac because you don't want to banish like any of the 3 Molmarat because they're so integral to the actual playstyle of the deck.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like that's fair, but like just looking at the top 32 of like Anaheim and Bochum, how many of the decks weren't playing Desires as a genuine interesting
Billy Brake
point?
played 2, mate.
In 42 cards.
Yeah.
How many of them weren't playing any?
I don't know. I don't think there's anyone that's playing 0. But
right, exactly. But that to me is enough to go. Yeah, this card's probably a bit.
Whoa! Pot of Desires, no skill. End of. Oh, sick. Where's my mod powers?
Anything else that should be?
There goes your guys' argument. Like I'm pretty sure I've just won this off that.
Anything else that should be banned? That's generic.
Banned.
Well, hit in some way. Just generic cards that should be hit.
Everything I've mentioned before, like the Floodgates, and then like, it's weird because like, I guess this is like a shitty suggestion, but like Upstart is like one of those cards like.
It just defeats the idea of you being having to play 40 cards. You don't. You just have to play 39.
Soul Charge?
Oh yeah, Soul Charge should be banned. That's one that we missed.
I'd like to see Raigeki banned and Darkhold to 3.
I'd
that'd
like
be good.
that as well. But
I
I think Brilliant Fusion should be at 1.
Whoa! What you saying?
Yeah. You could say like any high variance combo card should be limited or semi-limited or just banned.
Do you want me to? Well,
See, I think we should
Beaky's
just look at it
Titans.
this way, right? Brilliant Fusion is a Gem Knight card. How many decks have topped that are Gem Knights? Like none. That card's just played in like so many decks that just aren't Gem Knights. It's just
that came out towards August 2015. I don't think there's been any point in which it just hasn't been played. It's always been played in something or some variant of something.
Yeah.
I mean, I was partly kidding because you guys know how much I love Brilliant Fusion, but I actually just straight up disagree. I think Seraphonite's the problem, not Brilliant Fusion.
well, yeah, you could look at it that way.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
either works.
You can send Trick Clown, mate.
It's all no more lights, mate.
The fact that he's got light as its fusion material is actually just straight up absurd. Like, I'm trying to think of a way, like, you could, if you could change the effect of Seraphonite, I still think there's just a bunch of times where that engine could actually straight up just still be played.
Yeah.
Another card I think would be banned. I think you guys might actually disagree, but I'd like to see Twin Twister banned.
That's interesting. I did actually think that is a card that could deserve to be hit.
I think it could be.
I don't
Banned?
necessarily know if I'd say banned, but like,
Yeah.
Because like
it's a very powerful card.
Yeah, I don't think removal should be hit because like you want to clear floodgates, and if we're gonna be playing a format of floodgates, which we obviously are, because Konami won't hit floodgates, then we need the removal. But it's like you don't really need to hit 2 cards most of the time. It's just like if your deck can play Twister, then it's just assisting you. Where like in ABC for example, you're discarding your pieces to the graveyard to make Buster, or you're just like straight up blowing out someone like by the end phase twin twisting them against like Paleozoics or something like that. So we have Cyclone now, so that kind of acts as more removal. So we have 6 generic removal cards that we could have in the game rather than just having Twisters.
You say like that Twin Twister needs to be banned, but like OCG like have fucking Harpy's Feather Duster. And,
I think people who say like Duster and Storm should come out are just fucking stupid. Like I'm not even gonna entertain that discussion right now. That's for another day. But no way should those cards come back. What?
Twin Twister sucks.
Doesn't suck.
Thanks.
Twin Twisters is like weird because like there's actually quite a few decks that just can't play it. Like it's weird. Like
Yeah.
your deck actually has to be able to play it.
But see, the thing is, the decks that can play it are it's just a staple, Like ABC,
Yeah,
like
it probably
you literally
side
main
deck.
like 2 at least.
No, probably side it. Like
No, sliding. You don't main them.
Why
yeah,
not?
I was gonna say side deck.
Would
it's
you?
not an engine card.
Do you think it's a bad call to main Twister and ABC? Not at all.
Yeah, because
yeah.
Twin Twister sucks because it's just spell and trap removal.
Yeah, that's
Just a
good.
dead
What
card.
are you talking about? You can hit like
It's-
you can hit the hanger in the mirror match. You can hit the scales against Metalfoes, and you can hit the. What? I'm being
Okay.
serious. Like that's big.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like it's not a bad meta call at all to main Twister.
You're underplaying that card a lot.
Okay, so the other thing is that it's just fucking. So like, do you know like Marcelo's list from Bochum? There's like 1 fucking Twin Twister. Like,
Yeah, but that was like a space thing. It's like you got to like 38, 39. It's like, well, just play Twister.
you got
Because that's the
fucking
thing with
42 card
ABC.
main
The engine is really small. Like you could play like 30 cards in ABC and you'd have pretty much the same deck. Like
But he
after
played
30,
a
you're just adding
42 card
cards.
deck. He played 42 card deck though, didn't he?
Oh yeah, so he did.
So it's just like, I will put this in because if I go first, I'll never see it. But if I go second, and my opponent says back row, they're fucked.
Yeah, I forgot he played double. I forgot he played 42. I don't know what the fuck he was doing there. I'm not gonna lie.
Can I say one that could come back, which I forgot about, which might be quite interesting, although it shouldn't be?
Have we gone over everything that was banned first? That should be hit or limited or banned. Denko, I think, is maybe a good topic. I think Denko is like a floodgate in and of
fine.
itself.
That card's fine.
No,
That
what?
card, like,
No, I don't think Denko is fine. I think that's just your bias towards Denko, to be
Yeah,
honest.
you just admit you're biased.
oh, no, because like my opponent sets like 4 fucking traps, and it's just like, oh, they're all strike and dimensional barriers and floodgates and fuck
Yeah,
you,
but then he's
Brad.
playing a shit
Oh,
deck,
well,
so you're gonna
guess
win
what,
anyway.
bitch? Guess what, bitch? Bang! Player
Oh,
priority.
Brad, your opponent's sets 4, right? You summon Gold Driver, and they literally like fucking struggle. Like, come on, be realistic.
They sit there. If they look at their sets, they put them back down. They look at their sets again. They put them back down. You look them in the eye. You see the look of panic. So they look at their sets
Exactly,
again.
like a Gold Driver deals with these decks.
Attack! Gold Driver! Kill him! Alright, fine. But, like, I don't know, Denko Sekka just, like, it's so weird. Like, the card, like, comes and goes, like, as a fucking good side deck option.
Brad,
Maybe.
Jack, what do you think of Denko?
Like, I guess it could be its own.
One?
I don't know.
Like,
I
okay,
don't think it's majorly needed, like, but I could see it happening. Like, yeah, it is a strong card.
I didn't rely on Denko during Necros format. Oh no, I use the hands, because I am next level.
You said Necros format, everyone take a shot.
Good job.
I'm the bit. What?
You sided 5 cards for 1.
4.
Okay. Okay, so you sided 4 cards for like a terrible job of getting rid of floodgates.
And like floodgate monsters and spell and traps. Whoa, so bad.
Why couldn't you side MST like the rest of us?
I did.
What card are you talking about?
No wait, I was maining them, wasn't I? I was maining MST. The hands.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, hands. What the fuck, Brad? What did you play hands in?
Necros.
Let's not go into this.
I thought you meant at Bochum you played hands. Like, I'm gonna clear your scales and your fusion.
That would be so lit though. That'd be so sick. Like
Pendulum, like 3 hands.
Strike me, cunt. I dare you. That's right. Panic.
What do you do if your opponent pendulum's like 2 ice, 1 fire against you? You have to alkahest something eventually.
Flip that pendulum hole like a badass motherfucker. Boom! Back into the deck. I don't know.
You space-time trap all them.
Take 3k. No shame.
So anything else that we need to hit that we didn't mention?
Minerva Swarm is one that I think
Oh, Snow.
should probably go
Minerva
over.
did nothing though after Invasion of Venom. It was good for Liverpool, but it did nothing.
Pretty sure one top to bottom.
Yeah, 1. There's like 6 at Liverpool.
But it's still enough ground to suggest that Snow is
You've got to bear in mind, if everyone had access to Minerva, that number would probably be more.
Well, the thing is, like, if you're the good players will get access to cards they need, and the good players didn't think it was a good deck for Bochum.
Unless you're a scrub like Themis and you play Minerva.
Oh god.
Shouts to Themis.
His feature match was so embarrassing. Like
I didn't even watch it.
His deck did nothing. Like against this format, like Minerva just does nothing.
Literally brick twice.
Yeah, he did open quite bad, to be fair. But I don't think that deck needs anything particularly hit, honestly. Like, I think after everything we've already discussed, like Norden, for example, like that deck just sucks.
Yeah, I guess if Norden and Brilliant got hit, that would probably be.
Yeah, but like, you know, if we talked about like individual hits, but like, if we talk about individual hits, Snow has to be hit, like put to 1 if not banned, because like the fact that it's like not once per turn is pretty weird.
I don't know why Konami just can't just put hard once per turn clauses on cards like these. Like, why? I just don't.
It actually like makes people play like 2 of stuff, you know, like, not like 3 of everything. You know, like fucking Pot of Desires. You know, like well that's why, you know, like they fucking go, oh well this card is like not once per turn, so they're not gonna buy like 3 of it. Well, if it makes once per turn, then they're not gonna buy 3 of it, are they? Lol. Okay.
I guess that's true. Alright, on to things that should come back. Unless you guys have anything else you want to mention about hitting things, I'm just going to start us off, and I'm going to say, I would like to see Exciton come back. Discuss.
I kind of agree, but I kind of played a format where Exciton was like super good, and I love it.
I highly disagree.
Wait,
Shut up, Jack! No one asked you!
I mean, technically it did.
BK, what's your thought?
Specifically asked 3 of those. I am one of those people.
You bloody jerk!
BK, Exciton?
Yeah. I don't think Exciton's healthy for the game, but
why?
Detach one, nuke everything.
But if we're banning Norden, it's like whatever.
But you had to have less cards.
No, please do not say that you think having Norden ban.
No, but the thing is, like, going second is just so shit these days.
Boys, I know how to solve the problem of Exciton. We bring back Necros and Unicorn as a card again.
Shut up.
See,
Stop with this.
See, look, this is the thing, right? If we consider the fact that going first as a concept should be better in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Because if you go first, it means you get to set up your turn, etc. You do sacrifice the draw, but as a concept, going first is better. Like, if we look at it in a vacuum, irrespective of formats, going first should be objectively better because of the fact that you get to set up your turn and stuff like that. And I think that we need better ways of dealing with going second, and I think Exciton helps that a lot.
Isn't there better ways to do it than unbanning a card that is pretty stupid?
Well, I think like if Exciton wasn't like once per chain or something like that silly kind of thing, like it would probably be fine. But like ignoring the kind of semantics of Exciton, like the fact that you can just like chain it to stuff and like you can use it like during your opponent's turn, then yeah, it's a bit silly. But I think like that we do need something drastic done about going second. Like going second is so shit, like so bad.
I think that's something to do with the format, and I think that we should.
No, but again, like remember what I said. Like, irrespective of format, objectively going first should be the better thing in Yu-Gi-Oh, and decks should be designed to be more powerful because you don't have to deal with disruption, of obviously ignoring hand traps. But like going first should just be like better, right? So we need to make something that just completely like, you know, deals with like going second. And there's nothing really that we can think of that would honestly make going second good in this game, other than having a drastic measure like Exciton.
Give us the coin.
What?
It's a
Hearthstone reference.
Bro, I played Hearthstone briefly, just a small thing, and I thought going second was way better in Hearthstone. But that's neither here nor there. Probably, but I was
Wrong.
Like, I was like, bro, I have the coin and I get another draw. Yo, this is fucking sick.
Bearing in mind we're like 20 minutes over discussion, so let's stick to the topic. So yeah,
Sure.
Exciton. Beaky, you're kind of on the fence. Jack, completely disagree. What's your reason for really disagreeing with that?
Detach one, destroy all of our cards on the field.
But did you take into consideration the fact that how shit going second is, Jack?
I mean, it goes between like right at this very moment in time, going second is really shit, but that's not always the case. Like, plus, going second always isn't ridiculous. Second
I mean, for
is
the
better.
foreseeable future, like, bear in mind, ban lists can change, so if it ever comes to a point where going second is good, then sure, we could probably hit it again, but, like, as far as we can see, for the foreseeable future...
Then you'd be on the case of, like, banning and limiting X on, like, every other list.
Yeah, no, that scenario is terrible logic.
The other thing is...
I don't agree. I don't disagree, honestly, with things like that kind of pseudo-rotation style of things. Like, some cards are going to be good some formats, some cards are going to be bad some formats. So I don't particularly disagree with, like, banning it interchangeably. But, as the foreseeable future, going first is going to be the best optimal option for a very long time, so...
But the other problem is that, like, okay, so when... okay, so the first problem with Exciton is that it's a quick effect. That's, like, a huge thing. Because you could, like, your opponent could go, I can't, like, respond to the summon of Exciton. I can respond to summon of Exciton, sure, but I still have more cards than my opponent, so you can still fulfill the activation requirement. That's the first thing. The second problem is that, like, most people look at Exciton and don't think it had, like, a lot of impact, because, and I fuck me for saying this, but it existed in Necros format. So, like...
What, really?
Whoa. So you couldn't just...
I wasn't expecting that one.
Can I just say, if we were playing the Brad drinking game where anytime he mentions his tops in Necros format or anything to do with Necros format, I'd be like...
Oh, I'd be hammered.
Fuck off! I've said Necros, like... I've said it twice. I've said Necros twice. I don't even talk about my tops. I'm irrelevant.
He brought up his tops, everyone take a shot.
I'm irrelevant. No, I'm irrelevant. I've effectively regressed into a table 500 scrub. I'm playing fucking Dynamists in the side events now.
Brad, I literally went to being a table 500 scrub, like, not metaphorically. Not even as a joke. I reached that table. Don't even joke about that.
I didn't even play in the side events. Just played LOB format with Chris and Chase. Fuck my life.
That sounds fun.
It was good.
Right, but yeah, anyway. cards hit. Yeah, I think there's like 1,000,001 things that could come back. As I said,
yeah, I mean, discluding like random shit like Witch of the Black Forest or like Sangan, which we obviously think should come out. What are some like the really like impactful things that you think could potentially come back?
Someone's actually mentioned one of the cards that I want to come back.
Don't say Chain.
Juggler.
No, I think Blushfire should come back.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with Luster at 1, it's probably not. And
Damage Juggler's banned.
Damage Juggler banned as well. Yeah, that's the one.
Blushfire does nothing because Juggler is banned.
Float into fucking Hat Tricker. Broken.
Oh boy.
Well,
play
I think the spell card section of the ban list is like pretty fair.
Yeah, that's all. Like,
there's nothing looking at that where I'm like, yeah, that can come back.
Yeah, no, we all agree, just to let the chat know, we all agree that Tribe should come back. Tribe sucks. Tribe could come to 3 and it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. But you can discard Dragoons and plus 1.
Like, I remember at one point, I think I was like, it was in another Twitch chat where someone went, Super Poly should come back to 1. Oh no, that was it. It was like every fucking provisional ban list, right? When that Italian Yu-Gi-Oh had a Super Poly at 1, and everybody was like going, "Yeah, that's fair. Super Poly sucks." And it was like, you fucking suck. Like that card is just retarded. Like that should never come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much else I can really see here that can come back other than
Metalfoes weren't a thing.
I think like the most impactful thing that could come back would be like whole archetypes, like Shrit to 1 would be pretty big, Construct to 1 would be pretty big, Exciton would be pretty big, Chain would be pretty big. I think we can all agree Chain should probably stay banned. As much as I love Infernity, I'm gonna get rid of my bias and say Chain is not good for the game.
Yeah, it facilitates too much for too many things.
Probably not, no.
I think it was depressing that I had to actually argue with people at Euros Necros format that Chain should be banned.
Yeah.
Tour Guide could probably come back to 2.
Nope.
It's a normal summon.
Burning Abysses are still a thing.
Okay.
Well, for banning Seer, Tour Guide could go to fucking 3, so...
Then I can make my Invoker, which is going to be able to enable me to go into crazy combo.
Yeah, no. Tour Guide, 1.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Invoker, summon Momorat, sick. We begin.
We begin.
Sacrifice is like a random thing. I just
One thing
at.
I think we should discuss is, should we discuss about the fact that if Momorat becomes out of common, that we should be assuming that there's going to be an adjusted list?
No, I was talking to Chris about this, and like I thought that we talked about like what we thought the rarities of the stuff would be, and I said Momorat would be a secret and Drancy would be a secret, and he thinks that like they'll never make any main deck card a high rarity thing, and they'll like make like 1 or 2 of the extra deck things low rarity. So they make like basically they make the general bulk of the deck accessible. But what they do is they make like the key cards like really high rare. So like let's say for example like Metalfoes for example. It's not like really high. It's not like high in terms of price, but like you could play Metalfoes in Dark Illusion because you just had like a bunch of commons and rares, right? And then when they released the stuff that made the deck good, it just turns out that stuff's like Ultra and Secret. So they could do something similar here, where it's like, okay, you can have like every Zodiac Beast, every main deck Zodiac Beast, as like a super or a rare or a common. But if you want to play the deck, well, your Bullhorns and your Dranciers, they're going to be secrets.
Yeah, but Momorat's the only one that needs to be here.
How did we get onto this?
We're talking about like.
We'll get back to this in a second, but I'd just like to wrap everything up now because it's like been like an hour and a half. So, I mean, like we've mentioned, like there's so much like generic garbage that should come back. Exciton probably couldn't be banned. It couldn't come back. Laval Chain definitely can't come back. Shotmaster, like these kind of big things. Zenmighty, I think we mentioned earlier, could probably come back to 1.
I wish Disc Commander could come back. I love that card.
Yeah, maybe. What else? Other than that, I think that's basically it. Rulers. Okay, that's an interesting one. What do you think about rulers?
Oh, someone. I think there's been like loads of discussions where like the deck, if that deck came back at like, Chris said to me like, I don't know why I keep bringing him up, but like we talk about the ban list a lot, and he said like they could bring back everything, or not everything. I think he said he could bring back each ruler at 1, right, and it would do nothing. And my opinion was that like it doesn't do anything immediately, like but the way that most people, Yu-Gi-Oh players sometimes are so like socially inept that they spend loads of their time coming with dumb combos, and they couldn't make in the next Dark Synchro. So it could very well be a case of you never know when they could create the next powerful broadcast combo that happens to use a dragon.
Deck, though.
I know we've just been talking about the whole idea of like hitting cards when they become a problem versus doing it before, but it's like the thing with Dragon Rulers is they are so like generic and splashable. They will undoubtedly be a problem down the line. Like
like Redox
if they were back.
Redox in Zodiac. Discard like those like Redox with any Zodiac reborn something. That's surely something. Or like Blaster with a Metalfoe, pop anti-spell. Well, actually, that'd be good. Fucking hell, can we bring back Blaster, please?
How are you even fucking summoning Blaster and Metalfoes? Like, you're not filling up your graveyard that much anyway.
Banishing your Alcahests, mate.
Blaster would actually suck in Metalfoes.
Why you can pendulum summon it as a 2/8 meter?
Attack! And then use it to summon Crimson Knight at some point. No, but like, and then Tidal and like water would be like fuck off.
Oh yeah, God no.
Yeah.
I mean, without chain though, it's like, well, you might draw it sometimes.
So, and it's just like herder summon this guy. I don't know. I think that's it.
Yep, I think that's going to conclude our ban list discussion. So I think we might chill for a couple more minutes after the stream. Well, after this YouTube segment at least. So you'll find the full discussion on YouTube. Well, I'll upload it before I go to bed. So if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think down below about some of our points. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Hopefully we'll get some kind of a list soon, perhaps early New Year, something fresh. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks to the
Christmas present.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So thanks for the UK boys for joining me, and make sure you comment, like, subscribe, etc. Alright, back to